Right now, you are alone. Or at least, that is what you think. You are sitting in a room, or lying in a bed, or standing in a street full of strangers who do not know your name. And somewhere in your chest, there is a feeling that has no clean word in English. Not quite sadness. Not quite fear. Just a low, persistent hum that tells you that you are separate from everything else. That feeling is one of the oldest things about you. And the strange part? It was never supposed to protect you from being alone. It was supposed to make sure you never were. Here is what nobody tells you about loneliness. It is not a flaw in your design. It is not a malfunction. It is not the result of something going wrong in your life or your mind. Loneliness is a biological alarm system, and it has been running in the human body for somewhere between 2 and 3 million years. John Cacioppo, a neuroscientist at the University of Chicago who spent over 2 decades studying loneliness, described it as a signal as primal as hunger or thirst. When your body is low on food, it sends pain. When your body is low on water, it sends pain. And when your body detects that you are socially isolated, it sends a very specific kind of pain that you were never meant to ignore. Because for most of human history, ignoring it would have killed you. Think about where you actually came from. Not your parents, not your grandparents. Go back further. Go back to the open grasslands of East Africa, roughly 2 million years ago. Your ancestors were small. They were slow compared to almost everything that wanted to eat them. They had no claws, no venom, no armor. They were, by every physical measure, unremarkable animals. What they had was each other. The group was not a social preference. The group was the survival strategy. A single human alone on the savannah at night was not a person having a quiet evening. A single human alone on the savannah at night was food. Every study of hunter-gatherer communities that still exist today confirms the same pattern. Anthropologist Kim Hill spent over 30 years living among and studying the Ache people of Paraguay, one of the last foraging societies on Earth. He found that individuals who were separated from their group through conflict, through illness, through exile, had dramatically shorter lives. Not because anyone hurt them. Because the group was the mechanism through which food was found, wounds were treated, children survived, and threats were detected. To be alone was to be in danger. Your brain learned that lesson so deeply, it encoded it at the level of your nervous system. When Cacioppo and his colleagues scanned the brains of people who described themselves as chronically lonely, they found something remarkable. The brain was scanning the environment differently. It was hypervigilant. It was reading neutral faces as threatening. It was treating ambiguous social cues as hostile. Not because the lonely person was paranoid, but because the brain was running ancient software on a modern problem. The software said, "You are alone, therefore you are in danger, therefore scan for threats." That was the correct response for 2 million years. It is just not always the correct response now. But here is where it gets stranger. You are never actually alone. Not in the way your brain thinks you are. Not in the way that word feels when it lands in your chest at 2 in the morning. Right now, inside your body, there are approximately 38 trillion bacterial cells. They outnumber your human cells almost 1 to 1. They live in your gut, on your skin, in your mouth. They have been there since the moment you were born, when you traveled through the birth canal and were coated in your mother's microbiome. They communicate. They produce neurotransmitters. Researchers at University College Cork found that certain gut bacteria directly influence the production of serotonin and GABA, 2 of the chemicals most responsible for whether you feel calm or anxious, connected or isolated. Your mood is not entirely yours. It is, in part, a negotiation between you and the ancient organisms that have lived inside the human body for longer than the human body has existed in its current form. You have never been a single organism. You have always been a community. And it goes even further back than that. Every cell in your body contains mitochondria. You learned that in school, the powerhouse of the cell, the thing that turns oxygen into energy. What your textbook probably did not tell you is that mitochondria were once entirely separate organisms. About 2 billion years ago, a small bacterium was absorbed by a larger cell. Instead of being destroyed, it survived inside. Over millions of generations, it became inseparable. Every breath you take, every movement you make, is powered by the descendants of a creature that was never originally part of you. You are, at the cellular level, a merger. A collaboration. A relationship that became so close it forgot it was a relationship. Lynn Margulis, one of the most important and initially most controversial biologists of the 20th century, spent her career arguing that evolution was not just competition. It was cooperation. Not survival of the fittest in the narrow, violent sense that phrase is usually used. Survival of the most connected. The organisms that found ways to merge, to share resources, to become interdependent. Those were the ones that made it. You are the result of billions of years of things choosing not to be alone. But you already knew that, in a way. Not intellectually. Physically. Think about the last time someone touched your shoulder when you were upset. Not a romantic gesture. Just a hand. On a shoulder. For 3 seconds. In 2010, researchers at Carnegie Mellon University found that physical touch during moments of stress measurably reduced cortisol levels and suppressed inflammatory responses in the body. The body knew the touch was happening before the mind decided how to feel about it. The skin has its own intelligence. It has been reading contact as safety for longer than language has existed. Or think about the last time you were in a room full of people who were laughing, and you laughed too, even though you did not hear the joke. That was not politeness. That was mirror neurons that fire in your brain when you observe someone else performing an action, as if you were performing it yourself. Giacomo Rizzolatti, the Italian neuroscientist who first described mirror neurons in the early 1990s, initially discovered them in macaque monkeys. He found that when one monkey watched another reach for a peanut, the watching monkey's motor neurons fired as if it were the one reaching. Your brain does not draw a clean line between your experience and another person's. It blurs that line constantly. Automatically. Involuntarily. You feel what other people feel because your brain was built to make separation impossible. So why does it still feel so real? The aloneness? Because the alarm system does not care about evolutionary timescales. It cares about right now. And right now, you might be in a city of 20 million people and still feel like no one can see you. You might be surrounded by family and still feel like you are on the wrong side of glass. The ancient signal fires off in environments it was never designed to interpret. In offices, in comment sections, in apartments where you can hear your neighbor through the wall but have never learned their name. Cacioppo called this the paradox of the modern social world. We are more connected in terms of sheer contact than any humans who ever lived. And rates of reported loneliness in the developed world have roughly doubled since the 1980s. The alarm is firing. But the thing it evolved to fix. Physical proximity to a tight-knit group who knows your name, your history, your face is not the solution the modern world makes easy to reach. Here is what that means. It means the feeling is real. It means it is not weakness. It means your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do, in a world that evolved faster than the body could follow. And it means something else, too. The thing you are longing for when that low hum starts in your chest, it is not abstract. It is not romantic or philosophical. It is one of the most ancient biological needs in the history of complex life on this planet. It is the same need that caused a bacterium to stop being a bacterium and become part of something larger 2 billion years ago. The same need that kept your ancestors alive on a dark savanna when everything around them was faster and stronger and more lethal. You are not broken because you need people. You are the continuation of every living thing that ever figured out it was stronger together than alone. Right now, you are sitting in a room, or lying in a bed, or standing in a street full of strangers who do not know your name. And inside you, 2 billion years of collaboration are still running. Still reaching. Still scanning the horizon for a face that recognizes yours. You were never built for alone. You were built for this.